And you know, as powerful as that moment is, Charles half frozen in the snow, the wind howling like a lost spirit, and then the sound of hooves cutting through the silence. It wouldn't have carried the same weight if it were just acting. Because what you're really seeing is friendship made visible. The man who played Mr. Edwards, Victor French, wasn't just another actor hired for a guest role. He was Michael Landon's chosen brother, his creative soulmate, the one person Michael trusted to show up, both on screen and in life, when it mattered most. Their story began long before Walnut Grove, back in the golden age of television westerns. From 1959 to 1973, Bonanza wasn't just a show. It was a cultural phenomenon. Set on the vast Ponderosa Ranch near Lake Tahoe, it followed the Cartwright family, and at its heart was Michael Landon as Little Joe, the youngest son, fiery, romantic, and fiercely loyal. Victor French first appeared on Bonanza in 1966, playing a troubled ranch hand named Clem. He returned again and again, as a sheriff, a drifter, a grieving father, always bringing a quiet intensity that caught Michael's attention. There was something about Victor. He didn't perform. He lived his roles, and off camera he had the same no-nonsense honesty, the same dry humor, the same deep well of loyalty that Michael admired. By the time Bonanza ended in 1973, the two men weren't just colleagues, they were family. So when Michael got the green light to adapt Laura Ingalls Wilder's books into Little House on the Prairie, there was never any question. Mr. Edwards had to be Victor French, as Victor later recalled in interviews, with a mix of pride and humility. When he was called to do The House on the Prairie, he wanted me for the show. No audition, no screen test, just a phone call between friends. And that trust paid off in moments like this one, the 100-mile walk. Think about it. Michael, as Charles, is at his most vulnerable, exhausted, freezing, nearly broken. And who shows up? Not a stranger, not a hired hand, but Edwards, rough around the edges, gruff in speech, but with a heart as wide as the prairie. That's Victor. That's their friendship. Their partnership didn't end with Little House. In the 1980s, they created Highway to Heaven together, a show about an angel, Michael, and his mortal companion, Victor, helping people in need. It was spiritual, gentle, and deeply personal. And through it all, their bond only grew stronger. In fact, Victor once said with a laugh, but with real affection in his voice, "We spend more time together than a married couple." And it was true. They shared holidays, family dinners, creative dreams, and even grief. When Michael was diagnosed with cancer in 1991, Victor was by his side until the very end. So when you watch Mr. Edwards pull Charles onto that horse in the middle of a blizzard, don't just see a plot point. See a promise. See decades of trust. See two men who believed that showing up for someone, really showing up, is the highest form of love. That's why this scene lingers. Not because of the snow, or the drama, or the distance walked, but because it's real. And in a world that often feels rushed and disconnected, that kind of loyalty, it's rare, it's precious, and it's worth remembering.